Welcome to May's rundown of the best indie games coming out this month. A nice mix of well-known and more obscure titles for you in this video, so let's get stuck in. At number 10 is Amberspire, a dice-based city builder set in a science fantasy world from the developers behind the Banished Vault. Dice are at the heart of the game, with each building providing you with a unique dice to roll in order to create resources, which are then used in the construction and operation of other buildings. You may not always get the resources you need, so both you and your city will need to adapt and roll with whatever the dice provides. The citizens of Amberspire have their own goals and rivalries, so you must balance this as you continue to help the city prosper. The idea of a dice-based city builder is an unusual one. It could be quite easy to get frustrated if the dice rolls continue to not go your way, so that will be something the game will need to balance out. Amberspire rolls onto PC May 6th. Next up is Motorslice, a parkour-focused game where you explore the ruins of a megastructure. Playing as a girl named P, you have to use everything at your disposal to escape deadly traps as you run, climb, slide, wall run, perform stunts, and even use your chainsaw to cross impossible distances and make your way through an environment full of autonomous construction equipment that wants to kill you. The obvious touchstone here is Mirror's Edge, and alongside the parkour gameplay, Motorslice has a similar bold and colour-coded art style. How the parkour feels will be the deciding factor as to whether Motorslice manages to hit with players in the same way Mirror's Edge did. Motorslice slides its way onto PC, PlayStation 5 and Xbox X and S, May 5th. Our next game has a pretty long-winded title. The remake of the end of the greatest RPG of all time is described by the developer as a deduction puzzle game set in the last hour of a lost, non-existent 90s JRPG. Using the original manual, director's commentary, and clips of an unreleased amateur documentary, you must collect materials to deduce how the game functions and uncover the deeper secrets that lie within, all in service of answering the question, what is the greatest RPG of all time? It's certainly a unique premise and a title that has similarities with Daniel Mullin's work, as it looks to blend the line between what is real and what isn't within the constructed game world. The remake of the end of the greatest RPG of all time arrives on PC May 28th. Our next title is sure to get some excited as I mention the name Dark Messiah. The Adventures of Sit Kicksalot is a first-person action game that provides various ways for you to defeat your foes. Fighting with either melee or ranged weapons, you can disarm opponents, roll out the way, throw your weapon at them, grapple them, kick them, and various other things as you use the environment to your advantage. There is also a spell system that will allow you to set traps as well as do things like set enemies on fire or electrocute them. The idea, like Dark Messiah, is to provide the player with a suite of tools and then leave it up to the player as to how they wish to dispose of their opponents. Sit Kicksalot has a much less serious tone than Dark Messiah, coupled with a cartoonish art style, which adds to the hilarity that ensues once you engage in combat. I found the demo to be a lot of fun. The trick though will be to make sure that combat continues to evolve and test the player so that gameplay does not become stale. The Adventures of Sit Kicksalot kicks its way onto PC May 15th. Just missing out on the top 5 is Zero Parades for Dead Spies, an espionage RPG from the studio behind Disco Elysium. This title comes with a fair amount of controversy if you know anything about the goings-on at ZAUM after Disco came out, as original creators left claiming upper management had forced them out. You can go read Wikipedia for more details. That leaves Zero Parades in a strange position, as those who stayed on look to replicate the success of Disco Elysium without some of the minds behind it. I enjoyed what I played of the demo, and despite the intro being very similar to Disco's, the idea of playing a spy holds a lot of interest. There are a few other small tweaks to the gameplay, but perhaps sensibly, it is looking to stick fairly closely to its predecessor. Zero Parades for Dead Spies arrives on PC May 21st, with a console release scheduled for later this year. At number 5 we have SpaceCraft, an online space exploration and building game. In this title, you can explore an immense galaxy where you will pilot a spaceship journeying through systems filled with planets, asteroid fields, abandoned space stations and derelict ships. Fly down to planets to discover resources and set up factories to extract these resources and turn them into products to trade. You can also set up delivery lines with drones and cargo ships. It strikes me as a game that looks to mix elements of the factory building genre with a space game. It will be interesting to see how the online aspect figures into the game, as the developers talk about player actions evolve in the galaxy. You can team up with others to create corporations and interplanetary production, which sounds a bit like Eve, only without the intrigue and risk of death. It all sounds quite ambitious, but if developers Shiro Games can pull it off, they may well have a huge hit on their hands. SpaceCraft warps into Steam Early Access May 20th. Map, a game about maps, is a fairly self-explanatory game. It's a game about making maps. As a young cartographer who is part of a small adventure crew, you will need to use proper navigational tools to explore the various islands to find a legendary lost treasure. Along the way, you will mark landmarks, ruins and secrets as accurately as possible to create your maps. Navigate via compass, scan the horizon with a telescope, use a sextant to triangulate your position and measure your steps as you'll make your way across each island. Each map starts as a blank page, so it's up to you to figure out where you are and then journey onwards to map out the island and discover its secrets. I really like the idea behind this game. Creating your own maps is such a cool premise, and I look forward to honing my cartography skills. Map, a game about maps, comes to PC May 28th. Heading into the top 3 we have Clockwork Ambrosia, a steampunk Metroidvania in the vein of a run and gun platformer. The big selling point for this game is the run and gun nature, with you able to customise your weapon with a plethora of modifications. Will you go for the armour-shattering abilities of the missile launcher, the trick shot grenade launcher, or the versatility of the pulse breaker? As you explore, you will discover weapon mods that will reprogram your weapon and do more than just add +1 damage. When I played the demo, I got a strong sense of nostalgia for the games of the 8 and 16-bit era. The vibrant pixel art and soundtrack really evoked games of that time, and I found the combat to be a lot of fun. It's a title that looks to marry the tried and tested nature of Metroidvania with the uniqueness of weapon customization. Clockwork Ambrosia blasts its way onto PC May 12th. Our penultimate game for May is Romestead, an action-adventure survival game. Think Core Keeper or Terraria, but with a Roman setting. An apocalyptic event has left Rome in ruins, its citizens reanimated into walking husks. As the player, you have to survive the hordes of the fallen that hunt you each night, build defences and rebuild civilization. Go from a new settlement to a thriving metropolis as you build a blacksmith, leatherworker and farmstead among others, as various artisans will be needed to help your settlement grow. Alongside the settlement systems sit deep RPG systems that offer a wide variety of armour and weapons to equip, and skills to level up. Put these skills to use by exploring the various dungeons and taking on the bosses inside. As this is ancient Rome, you will get to pick a god to worship, who will then provide you with their own buffs and technology, as long as you please them. All this is of course playable in co-op, with the game supporting up to 8 players at once. Romestead looks to be serving up all the things you would expect from one of these types of games, alongside some of its own unique features. Romestead marches into Steam Early Access May 26th. My pick of the month for May is Alabaster Dawn. I was originally a bit conflicted about this title, in that I played the demo and loved it, and was really looking forward to the release this year, but then it turned out it was going to come to Early Access first, and I was a bit disappointed. Turns out, developers Radical Fish Games did the same with their previous game Crosscode, and that was an excellent game, so I have fewer concerns now if Alabaster Dawn is set to follow the same pattern. As for the game itself, it's a top-down 2.5D action RPG with some amazing pixel art, intriguing story, and really fun combat that has a stylish combo system, allowing you to wield multiple weapons and have control of 4 elements. When I played the demo, I felt this could easily be a contender for my Game of the Year. and even though it is only an early access release and the game is set to spend a fair amount of time in this stage before seeing release, I think there is so much promise here. Alabaster Dawn heads to Steam Early Access May 7th. That's your lot for May. As always, let me know in the comments your favourite game and anything you think I might have missed. I want to end by saying a big thank you to everyone who watches my content and supports the channel. I hope you enjoyed the video, and if you did, maybe click the like button or subscribe to the channel if you want to see more indie game content. Thanks for watching, and I'll see you again next time.